Verse 9. As to the kingdoms of the land of Egypt, which succeeded THOTHMA, the inhabitants of the earth already know the chief part. For hundreds and hundreds of years the Egyptians were the most learnt people in the world, and especially in a knowledge of the stars and the sun and the moon, and in adeptism and in miracles. But woe came unto them, the land became flooded with hundreds of millions of Jujurs, which are spirits of darkness. And as to the people of Egypt, the chief desire was to be able to return in spirit after death and dwell with mortals. And these things which follow are not even lawful to mention. Verse 11. Sufficient it, these spirits lost all sight of any higher heavens than to dwell on earth. They knew no other, and they watched about when children were born, and obsessed them, driving hence the natural spirit, and growing up in the new body of the newborn, calling themselves reincarnated. And these Jujurs, or spirits of darkness, professed that when they previously lived on earth, they were great kings, or queens, or philosophers. Verse 12. And they taught as their master Osiris the false did, that there was no higher heaven than here on earth, and that man must be reincarnated over and over until the flesh become immortal. Not all of these spirits drove hence the natural spirit, but many merely engrafted themselves on the same body, and while such persons lived, these spirits lived with them and dwelt with them day and night, not knowing more than their mortal companions. And when such persons died, behold, the Jujurs, or the spirits of darkness, went and engrafted itself on another child, and lived and dwelt with it in the same way, and thus continuing generation after generation. So here is the downside of the Comedian civilization. If you're the founders of great civilization, you got to look at the good and the bad. You just can't look at the good. So here is showing you the bad, that these spirits knew no higher heaven but to dwell on earth, possessing or obsessing mortal bodies. Verse 13. And because of these indulgences, many of the spirits came in sargos, meaning having the ability to materialize before humans, in the families of the Egyptians, eating and drinking with them corporally, even doing things whereof no man may speak, whereby dire disease seized upon the flesh of mortals, and their blood and their flesh became inhabited with vermin. The people became idolaters and vagrants, and the lands were not tilled, and the places of learning became deserted ruins. So here is showing you that the angels manifested before the people, eating and drinking with them, doing things where it says it's unlawful to mention. So that's showing you that it was sexual activities going on. And it said dire disease seized upon the flesh. So these are the things that brought the downfall of this great civilization. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings, and catch you on the next documentary called The Triangular Wars of Osiris, Baal, and Ashtaroth. Shalom.